Hello, Hamilton. It's that time again. Get up, get off the couch, and start tackling your own to-do list. I'm Just Ask Bob. Welcome to today's brand new episode of the Just Ask Bob Show. Let me take a moment to take this down. Our interview, 2-hour-long interview based on today's television show with the Hamilton Spectator. Find the interview, enjoy it, www.justaskbob.com. We'll put it away for now. Now, on today's show, we're tackling an email question. Dear Bob, can you please do a show on ABS drain pipes and copper supply lines? Oh, and Bob, what is better for supply pipe, copper or plastic? Anna Maria from Stony Creek, Ontario. Well, thank you, Anna Maria, and thank all of Hamilton. If it wasn't for your questions and your emails coming in, I wouldn't have a show to write, produce, and create. So thank you to everybody. Let's take a moment to discuss some of the tools that we're going to be using. On today's show, we are going to be using, let's start with the ABS. Tools and products. We have a toilet flange. Again, there's a variety of flanges that you can use. I want to be very, very careful to hone in on old Hamilton homes, which most likely won't have ABS. Old Hamilton homes will have cast iron. So again, this is a flexible coupling. Most cast iron that I've worked on in Hamilton is 4-inch. We're going to be reducing that from 4-inch to 3-inch. Not on today's show. I couldn't find cast iron, so Hamilton, turn on your imagination. Now, also we're going to be talking about and using ABS glue. Now, I really want Hamilton to focus in here. We have ABS cement premium grade, and we have ABS cement standard grade. Now, in the small can format, believe it or not, 10 cents more expensive. Now, if we break this down from a marketing standpoint, and again, Oatley's not going to appreciate me for this, but let's just throw out a number at you there. Let's say 50% chance that this is phony baloney. They're both the same strength, they're both the same ABS glue. They simply market this one as premium grade and this one as standard. Is it worth a dime? Is it worth a 10-cent investment? Yes, it is. Now, let's assume that it isn't marketing. There is something in here that does a much better fusion weld than the one that's 10 cents less. Is it worth the nickel? Yes, it is. Sorry, the dime. Is it worth the 2 nickels or the dime? Yes, it is. So again, when you're cutting the contractor out of the equation, you're saving money. I would say, well, the old statement that seems to run around is 50-50 of your quote, half labor versus half materials. Sometimes it's 80% labor and 20% materials. So again, when you're cutting the overcharging contractor out of the equation, take some of those savings, spend the extra dime, buy the higher quality ABS glue. I mean, if you think about it, this isn't going to be a compression fit or a mechanical fit. There's no clamp system going on here. You're actually cold fuse welding the two ends of ABS together, so you're never going to have a leak. Spend the extra money where it counts. Now, we've done past shows and we haven't really talked about fire prevention, so we will be lighting up the torch today. So again, no matter what your level of experience, it's very important to have a fire extinguisher on hand. Make sure it's not expired like this one. I'm only kidding. Keep it on hand if you have an issue. I mean, again, you could be soldering against wood. Keep it on hand. If you need it, it's there for you. Now, I'm also going to take a moment to show you what the difference is. If you're using, okay, the difference here, obviously, not only in quantity and size. The actual dabber is large. You need a big dabber to do 3-inch pipe. You can get away with a small dabber to do 2-inch, 1.5 inch, 1.25 inch. So again, depending on what size pipe you're fuse welding together, it's going to depend on what size dabber comes in. As you can see, that's the other end of the head of the dabber. Now, very important that you have some type of a marking system. We're going to show you as we go on in the show. There's going to be times when you need to make a mark, and there's going to be times when you need to line up the arrows. Obviously, black marker won't work on black pipe, and it has to be a specialty marker. I like using the Sharpies because it does stay on. We'll show you as the show goes on about how you fuse weld these together. Now, that's about everything except for the pipe cutter. You've seen on past shows, we've used the pipe cutter for ABS. Fantastic tool when it stays together, but we've got doubles of everything here, so that'll be very useful. Now, that's about everything as far as the ABS. So remember now, your old Hamilton home, if it hasn't been updated, you're not going to have ABS. You're going to have cast iron. So I'm going to explain to you how you remove the cast iron or how you connect into it. More than likely, if it's been updated or it's a home built within the last 10, 15 years, you're going to have ABS. Now let's move on to the supply system. As you can see here, we're going to have some fun today, and not only are we going to have fun with what I like to call try, tested, and proven good old copper, but we're also going to get into something very new for today's show, IPEX or similar brand plastic water supply pipe. Now, we've talked on many shows before how you do your soldering, how you get it all hooked up together. We'll give you a little refresher on that, but very new for today's show is the IPEX. Now let me go over it with you. IPEX has been used in different areas in the world, mainly in the States for I believe 20, 25 years. It's proven itself. I mean, there's some pros and cons. We'll get into that as the show goes on. But in this particular case, now why IPEX is so popular, very, very minimal labor costs, and the material's even coming down in price. As far as now skill level, there are some tools you're going to need. You're going to need some type of a cutter. I love the Rigid, which by the way is one of my top picks. We'll get into that later. It's a very nice tool. We'll show you how to use it. You're also going to use the PEX or the IPEX crimping tool. Very important to have. It's a must. You can't do anything without it. So again, when turning to copper, we're substituting the torch for compression. And again, that has pros and cons. Now you're going to need to use these guys to get the compression going. We'll show you how to use that. Now we've done shows before where we've showed you ball valve, solder on shut-off valves, and also compression shut-off valves. Different system when it comes to IPEX. When it comes to IPEX, you're putting this piece on, you're fitting it over, and you're squeezing it with the tool. Similar to a compression shut-off valve that you'd put onto copper, but again, after the break, we'll show you how to do that. Where's my Shark Bites? Shark Bites, phenomenal product, available at the Home Depot. Very, very easy to use to transition a variety of different materials. I've been working hard. It's all built, it's constructed. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to make plumbers out of you. We'll see you in a few moments.
If you're looking for a breakfast recipe that provides a good source of protein, I have one, egg burritos. I really like this recipe because you can use ingredients that you have on hand.
For 2 burritos, I've mixed together 1 cup of liquid eggs and a 1/4 cup of chopped red, yellow, and green peppers and diced onions. Cook until the egg mixture begins to set. Then add a 1/4 cup of cheddar cheese, leftover chicken, and flavor with a dash of pepper. Continue stirring until the mixture is completely set. Then divide the eggs between the 2 tortillas. These burritos provide an excellent source of high-quality protein, and protein will help keep you going.
If you'd like a copy of this recipe, please visit our website at bodybreak.com. Until next time, keep fit and have fun.
Body Break! Body Break!
Hello Hamilton, welcome back to the show. On today's show, as you can see from the lovely prop I've constructed, we're going to teach you how to replace your cast iron pipe or to run branch lines off ABS. We're going to teach you for a first on today's show how to work with IPEX or plastic supply piping. I'll also give you a refresher course on soldering copper pipe together. If I take a moment to let you know of something new for this season, Season 2 of the Just Ask Bob show, I'm hosting Bob's Bewares, which is very important because not only do I want to showcase my top picks, I want to also showcase my Bob's Bewares. Products on the marketplace, unfortunately, this market is saturated with junk. I mean, for every 1 true quality product, there's probably 15 to 20 pieces of junk out there. So today's Bob's Beware is the Super Value, French side, is the Super Value Smooth Surface Roller. Now, eventually down the road, we're going to do a show on painting. And I really, really want people to understand, again, back to what I keep telling you, when you cut the overcharging contract out of the equation, put some money back into your materials. This roller is a piece of junk. They're being nice calling it value. I could call it something else. Now you're going to have to keep dipping, re-dipping. It's going to leave lint and fuzz. Not a high quality product, and certainly not a Just Ask Bob top pick. Now, speaking of the pail we've got going on here, very special thanks to the continued support for Season 1 and for Season 2. Our one and only sponsor, the Just Ask Bob Show, is the Home Depot on Stone Church, Hamilton Mountain. Thank you very much for them helping us out with everything from the lumber that we use to construct our props, to the ABS, to everything else we try to use on the show here. Now, back to the show. We're going to start with the most important tool, which is the special marker. And of course, what you're going to need at home is a tape measure. Now, a lot of ways to look at this. I mean, if your home already has ABS plumbing, and the way this is jiggered up, this could be your basement. If you've obviously strapped it with 2x4s, this could even be the main floor, and you've got the vent stack leading up, and then you've got your P-trap here because your bathtub's above. So for all intents and purposes, please, Hamilton, use your imaginations with this. Now, back in the day, old double-bricked Hamilton homes would have had cast iron. Cast iron is actually incredible quality. I mean, life expectancy, 60 to 80 years, maybe 100, so it is running into time to have it replaced. Most often, it cracks at the seams. So now let's assume for a moment that you already have this in your home. You've got a leak, or you've got a problem, or you're remodeling your bathroom. What I'm going to show you now is really important about how to properly measure and mark. Now, let's assume, again, use your imagination. Let's assume I've already designed this run. I've used the tape measure. Let's call it a dry run. Nothing's fusion welded. Everything can be taken apart. Everything can be undone. So again, we've already done the stage of measuring. We've got everything put together. Now it's very important that we mark it. And I'll show you why. You want to put a mark here. You want to put a mark there. Again here, again here. Oops. Every mark lines up. When you apply ABS glue, you have to put it in, do a twisting motion, and the marks have to line up. If the marks don't line up, you're going to be all over the place. Okay, mark, mark, mark. Perfect. Now again, that's assuming that's the run we want to take. Now let me show you how to glue it together. Hamilton's never seen Just Ask Bob wearing gloves. I don't usually. When working with ABS glue, I'll always wear gloves because it's a real pain to get it off your skin afterwards. Okay, let's start with this piece. And let's also take a moment. On past shows, we've used the cutter that cuts up to 2 inches. So we take a moment to show you what these cutters mean. This is your complete run of ABS piping. We have 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/4 is Ontario minimum building code size for sinks, bathroom sinks, even possibly at times showers. But I don't believe in 1 1/4 inch. At the minimum, on any of my jobs, I'll use 1.5 inches. It is true, size does matter. The larger the pipe, the more airflow and the less chance of debris clogging. Well, I mean, that's another story. You have to have the proper slope. Then you've got 2 inch, even better to use for a shower. And then, of course, we've got 3 inch. 3 inch is going to be your wet stack. 3 inch is going to be for toilets, which is a must. So the 3 inch has to be cut with a very large wheel. Now, using a hacksaw, it can be done, but again, it can be very, very difficult to get an exact square cut. You have to have a true square cut. So obviously, we've already got our piece cut. You want to make sure that you're clean, and you want to make sure that you bottom in completely. If I can show you on one of these, you want to bottom in all the way. Handy to keep a pail close by to catch your mess. You want to shake the product a little bit. Make sure you glue the side with the mark. You've got to work quickly. without making a mess. Apply the product in here. Immediately put it in. Bottom it out and twist. Everything lines up. Now, it's not that imperative for this piece because we've got no elbow here. So, I mean, it's a complete circle. The lining up didn't mean as much. Obviously, it matters here. If you don't line up these marks, you're going to be out here. That cannot be readjusted. Once you've glued it, you're done. Let's pull out this one. Now, again, I explained to you the different size of the dabbers. And actually, let me take a moment now, take advantage of this. Can you see the difference? They tell you size doesn't matter. Well, side equals speed in this case. Obviously, you want the big dabber for 3-inch pipe. With the small dabber, the 1.25 inches, the 1.5 inches. If I'm fuse welding 2-inch pipe, I'll still use the large one. Using this one on the 3-inch, I mean, if you're stuck, it can be done. But it takes you so much time to dip and dip and dip. Your glue can start to harden, and then as you put it in, it's going to lock before you can twist to get the lines marked up. Okay, we'll stick with the small one now. Let's take it apart. You see, here are the lines, so I'm going to start a little bit over. Bottom it out, twist. That's it. It's not a mechanical fitting, it's not a compression fitting, it's a cold fusion weld. That's never going to leak. Take a moment to do another one here. We'll do one more and then we'll skip to the P-trap. Sometimes it's not easy to see the mark, it starts to get covered. Bottom it out. Okay. In this case, it dried too quickly on me. I didn't have a chance to adjust it. So as you can see, my marks are off. Now, does it matter? Depends. Again, this is a prop. If the mark was lined up, this would have been brought about a few more inches prouder of the stud. So again, very important. Get it in quickly and spin it around. Now, let's take a final moment before we go to break and talk about P-traps. Not all P-traps are created equally. If I can take a moment to just put this one on. This P-trap was designed for the average homeowner that's not really experienced in marking. And I'll show you now exactly why. This P-trap, fusion weld, it's got an adjuster. So depending where your piece is for your bathtub's up here, and you've got a piece coming down from your bathtub. Depending where it is, you can adjust this. After you've adjusted it, you tighten the nut. What's wrong with this? Fusion weld, leak proof. Mechanical connection, no good. Potential leak. Junk. We get a good one. We put this one on. Fusion weld. Why do the big box stores tell you to buy the other one? Because it's adjustable. I've just taught you how to measure and mark. Let's say you want it here to line up with the bathtub. Set it there. Make your mark, glue it, cold weld it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to have some fun with IPEX. See you soon.
We're making our favorite snack.
And it's spicy too.
Yeah, it is. It's chili popcorn. Let's get started. After you've prepared 4 cups of hot air popcorn, mix it with 1 tablespoon of melted margarine. Then combine the following seasonings: 1 1/4 teaspoons of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, and a dash of garlic powder. Sprinkle it over the popcorn and gently shake the bowl.
Dad, there's not enough for you.
After you've prepared 4 cups of hot air popcorn, mix it with 1 tablespoon of melted margarine. Then combine the following seasonings: 1 1/4 teaspoons of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, and a dash of garlic powder. Sprinkle it over the popcorn and gently shake the bowl.
If you like a copy of this recipe, check out our website at bodybreak.com. Till next time, keep fit and have fun. Body Break!
Body Break! Hello, Hamilton. Welcome back to the Just Ask Bob show. Today we've been talking plumbing. We've spent the last part of the show teaching you how to use ABS glue to fuse weld your waistlines. We've talked about 3-inch. We've talked about 1.5-inch piping. We've talked about the various choices in P-traps. Now we're going to get on to copper, supply, IPEX. Let me take a moment though. Full season 1, 10 episodes, and even season 2. Everything is available on justaskbob.com, www.justaskbob.com, where you can take your time, watch the show over and over, pause, fast forward, rewind, learn at your own pace. Also, Facebook contest, Just Ask Bob, win me in your home for a part of the day. I'm going to show up to your home with a tool belt for you. Probably not my 7-year-olds. We'll get you snazzed up in the tool belt. We're going to get you up and off the couch, and I'm going to help you tackle some of your own to-do lists. Start to chip away at them. Find us on Facebook, Just Ask Bob. Like us on Facebook, and we want lots of drama. I want to know not only the renovation or repair, why isn't it getting done? Who's procrastinating? The husband, the wife? My best bet would be the husband. Either way, like us on Facebook, send in the submission, and we'll see about getting to your home. Now, let's talk about supply lines. In this particular case, we'll show you in a moment. I've got the copper here. We'll do a little refresher on how to solder it together. But the first thing we're going to start on is the IPEX. Now, this has been used for about the last 10, 15 years here in Ontario, here in Hamilton. It's been used a lot in other countries. The big advantage is if you've got a 20, 30-foot area, even 50, 60-foot area, and you can do bends without sharp 90 degrees, you can run miles of this stuff continuous. Very, very affordable, you know, labor-wise as far as hiring your contractor, your plumber. Where it gets expensive is having the proper tools. This is the crimping tool. We're going to show you how to use it. These are the rings. These go around the section of IPEX before you crimp it together. Now, let's take a moment to, well, we'll actually run through here. Let's talk about the shut-off valve. Very different system from your regular shut-off valves. So I'm going to show you how we do it here. Let's start with this end, which is already made. First thing we do is we use the cutter. Absolutely beautiful tool. By the way, as seen in season 1 of the Just Ask Bob show, this baby's a Just Ask Bob top pick. Made by Rigid, asked for it by name. It's like a hot knife through butter. Now, we want to slide the ring over. Then we want to put the shut-off valve on the proper way, bleeder screw this way. That's your on, that's your off. We bring the crimping ring over. We get the tool on. That's the end you bite on. Obviously, it's going to face my way at this point. You bite onto the end. Make sure you're bottomed out. Maximum crimp. That's it, it's locked. That's how you run IPEX. Now you have to do this in all different applications. We have a T, so let's assume we want to cut here and we want to bring the hot and cold supply out for a sink, for a bathroom. You have to cut the IPEX. Don't you love that? Try doing that with a utility knife. Won't work as well. Won't work as easily. Again, you want to bring your rings through. You come in, bottom it out. Obviously crimp them. You take another section, get the ring on first, and then you install your shut-off valve. Now, part of the question with this, that we've had a lot of emails on this. I didn't bother reading an email for this today. I've had dozens and dozens come in over the last few years, and I've had this in the back of my mind to do a show. Part of the question, it was a two-part question that came in. Part of the question was, what is better, copper or IPEX? Let's look at it this way. Once you put the torch to this and you heat it up and you solder it, the joint is as strong as the copper. In this particular case, it's a good product, but weak point, weak point, weak point. And everywhere you turn a bend, everywhere you do a 90-degree angle, again, it's a weak point. So would I want my entire home personally, the entire home done in IPEX? Maybe not. Would I mind it for small renovation? That would be fine. Now to take a moment to talk about copper, and unfortunately a very brief moment. We don't have enough time on today's show to give you a run through on copper. Not a problem at all. www.justaskbob.com. Look through our episodes from season 1. We've had the torch going. We've taught you how to solder. We've taught you how to work on copper, but not enough time in today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, tune in every month for the Just Ask Bob show. Thank you, Hamilton.